Welcome, we are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Funeral ceremonies for Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi and his entourage to begin today. Iran observes 5 days of mourning. India declares one-day state mourning on Tuesday. Israel strongly condemns ICC prosecutors' request to arrest its officials over Gaza conflict. US denounces ICC for outrageous implication of equivalence between Israel and Hamas. Phase 5 of India's general election records voter turnout of 60.09%. Baramulla in Jammu and Kashmir records highest voter turnout in the last 35 years. So Iran has declared 5 days of mourning in memory of President Ibrahim Raisi, Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian and other Iranian officials who were killed in a helicopter crash on Sunday. The mortal remains of President Raisi, Foreign Minister and the other officials and staff have been brought to Tabriz, the capital city of Iran's East Azerbaijan province, where a public procession was held. According to Iranian media, funeral ceremonies for President Raisi will be held from Tuesday to Thursday in the city of Tabriz, Qom, Tehran, Birjan until his final burial at the Imam Riza Shrine in Mashhad. Many Iranians packed into mosques and squares on Monday to pray for the officials who died on Sunday when the helicopter they were travelling in crashed in poor weather in mountains near the border with Azerbaijan. Iran on Monday announced that it will hold presidential elections on June 28. According to Iran state media, the election calendar was approved at the meeting of the heads of the judiciary, government and parliament. Meanwhile, Vice President Mohammad Mokhber has been appointed to assume interim duties. Iran's cabinet has also appointed Deputy Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri Kani as acting Foreign Minister. And the first funeral for Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and those who died with him is taking place later on Tuesday. The President and Foreign Minister as well as regional officials and pilots were killed in a helicopter crash in northwestern Iran on Sunday. DD India's Stuart Smith has more from neighbouring Iraq.
The commemoration for the life of the president will begin in Tabriz, the capital of East Azerbaijan province in northwestern Iran. His body and those travelling with President Raisi will then be taken to Tehran, the capital of Iran. The final resting place is being variously reported as Raisi's home city of Mashhad in northeastern Iran, which is also a significant religious hub for Shia Muslims, or the city of Qom in central Iran. Meanwhile, the country will participate in 5 days of mourning. Exams have been postponed and a period of 7 days without cultural programming has been imposed. The Chief of Staff of Iran's military has ordered an investigation into what caused the helicopter crash. Dense fog, freezing temperatures and wet weather have been offered as the primary reason by officials, but a former Iranian foreign minister says the US is partially to blame for imposing sanctions that have made it impossible for Iran to properly maintain and repair its aviation fleet. At the same time, preparations for an election are underway. They must happen within the 50-day time limit mandated by the Constitution. The country's election headquarters affirmed on Monday that no details have yet been released about the timing of the process, but July 8th has been suggested to the Guardian Council, which will manage the voting, meaning candidates would have to declare their intention to run by June 8th. Experts expect the shortlist and final winner of the election race will be a continuity candidate and someone who, like their predecessor, will defer to the instructions and foreign policy of Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei. Stuart Smith in Baghdad, reporting for DD India.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has issued condolences on Monday over the death of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. United Nations spokesman Stephen Dujarric said the UN Secretary General is saddened by President Raisi's death.
The Secretary General is saddened by the death of Saeed Ibrahim Raisi, the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Hossein Amir Abdollahian, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran, as well as their colleagues in the helicopter accident that took place yesterday on May 19th. The Secretary General expresses his sincere condolences to the families of the deceased, as well as to the government and people of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
And the United Nations Security Council paid tribute to the late Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and his delegation by observing a minute of silence during their Monday meeting. Mozambique's UN ambassador, who currently holds the rotating council presidency for the month of May, requested that the members stand and maintain a moment of silence in remembrance of the loss of life in a crash of Iran's president and his team. Pope Francis also offered his condolences to the Islamic Republic of Iran on Monday following the death of the President Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash. In a written notice, Pope Francis sent condolences in a telegram addressed to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and sent the assurance of spiritual closeness to the nation at this difficult time. And the government of India declared a one-day state mourning on Tuesday as a mark of respect to Iranian President Saeed Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian, who died in a helicopter crash. During this period of state mourning, the national flag will be flown at half-mast on all buildings where it is customarily displayed. There will be no official entertainment throughout the day. The External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Monday said that due to the interest and initiative of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian, India was able to finalize a long-term agreement on the crucial Chabahar port. India on May 13th signed a 10-year agreement to operate the Chabahar port on the Gulf of Oman, providing Indian goods a gateway to reach landlocked Afghanistan and Central Asia. The External Affairs Minister said the Chabahar port agreement is something bigger than a port. It is part of a connectivity change that is being looked at.
You know, we've been trying for almost 20 years now to have an agreement with Iran. We could have like a short-term agreement because there were a lot of problems on their side. But actually, in recent months, thanks to, in fact, the two people who unfortunately died yesterday in the helicopter crash, the President of Iran and the Foreign Minister of Iran, because of their interest and their initiative, we were actually able to finalize a long-term agreement. This is very important because if you look, you know, today, one of the big things in the world is how do you make connectivity corridors?
And the chief prosecutor at the International Criminal Court has announced he is seeking arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as well as several Hamas leaders over Gaza conflict. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan KC issued a statement on Monday morning proposing that arrest warrants are issued for PM Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, Mohammad al-Masri, Hamas military chief, and Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas's political leader. It marks the first time in ICC history that a sitting head of state and a sitting defense minister of a country face arrest warrants. Outrageous. That's how US President Joe Biden describes an announcement by the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor Karim Khan that he's seeking arrest warrants for Israeli and Hamas leaders. Biden is promising to stand with Israel, whose Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned Monday's application against him as a moral outrage of historic proportions, vowing to continue with what he insists is a just war against Hamas. DD India's Benji Hire reports.
Well, this is a rather forthright denouncement from the Biden administration, a quote, fundamental rejection of what officials here call the ICC's shameless push for arrest warrants for both Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant over war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza.
Let me be clear. We reject the ICC's application for arrest warrants against Israeli leaders. Whatever these warrants may imply, there is no equivalence between Israel and Hamas. And it's clear Israel wants to do all it can to ensure civilian protection. But let me be clear. Contrary to allegations against Israel made by the International Court of Justice, what's happening is not genocide. We reject that. We're going to always stand with Israel and the threats against its security.
You have to hear this to believe this. The International Criminal Court in The Hague is contemplating issuing arrest warrants against senior Israeli government and military officials as war criminals. This would be an outrage of historic proportions. International bodies like the ICC arose in the wake of the Holocaust committed against the Jewish people. They were set up to prevent such horrors, to prevent future genocides.
A panel of pre-trial judges will now determine whether the evidence supports the issuing of warrants against those two politicians, as well as against Hamas's leader, Yahya Sinwar, for his and others' involvement in the deadly October 7th attack. But the White House is claiming this move by the ICC could jeopardize ceasefire efforts, and it risks creating an equivalence between Israel, its Middle East ally, and Hamas, a group the US designates as terrorists. Washington also says the court has no jurisdiction over the matter. If warrants are granted, countries signed up to the ICC statute would be obliged to arrest the men if they set foot on their soil. That doesn't include Israel nor the United States, which don't conform to the statute.
I can also confirm today that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of the State of Palestine from at least the 8th of October 2023.
Israel, according to US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, was actually prepared to cooperate with the court's prosecutor, who is scheduled to visit Israel as early as next week to discuss the investigation. His staff were meant to land in Israel hours ago to coordinate that visit. Yet Israel was informed that they didn't board their flight just at the same time as their boss took to the airwaves to announce the charges, a timeline which the US State Department says undermines the legitimacy and the credibility of this investigation. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan just returned from Israel and the Palestinian West Bank for talks, urging a political solution to the war. And despite the stern reaction we've heard stateside, this ICC decision could increase the pressure on the US to draw back its support of Israel. Benji Haya in Washington, reporting for DD India.
And the defense in Donald Trump's hush money trial has made a motion for the case to be dismissed, saying there is no evidence of false business filings. Addressing reporters outside the court, Trump repeatedly claims that the case is a political witch hunt, saying it should be dropped by the judge. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts. Sally Patterson reports from New York.
It wasn't a good start for the defense in Trump's hush money trial after a dramatic turn of events here in New York City. Judge Juan Merchan ordered the jury and the media out of the courtroom after witness Robert Costello went up onto the stand, and the judge decided he didn't like his attitude. The judge said, "I'd like to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. If you don't like my ruling, you don't give me side eye and you don't roll your eyes. Do you understand that?" Costello responded that he understood. Then the judge asked him, "Are you staring me down?" A furious Judge Juan Merchan then ordered everyone to clear the room. This came after Michael Cohen, a key witness in this case, was the last witness in the prosecution's side. They then rested their case and it was over to the defence to have their turn. We've heard several weeks now of testimony from the prosecution's side leading up to Cohen, who is at the very centre of this trial. The defence also got Cohen to admit to stealing from the Trump organization when he worked for Trump back in 2016 and 2017. This all ties into the defense's case that Cohen is not a trustworthy witness in their opinion, and he's not someone who should sway the jury one way or another. The prosecution is trying to prove that Donald Trump gave the go-ahead on that payment. He was behind it, and then he filed that payment as a legal expense, something the prosecution says was actually illegal. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 criminal counts. He said that this is a political witch hunt being orchestrated by his opponents to keep him out of the White House. Sally Patterson in New York, reporting for DD India.
All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Campaigning in full swing for remaining 6th and 7th phases of the parliamentary polls. Table toppers Kolkata Knight Riders will face Sunrisers Hyderabad in the first qualifier at Ahmedabad today.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Now, let's get to the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. So, polling in the 5th phase of India's general elections on Monday recorded an approximate voter turnout of 60.09%. 49 seats across 6 states and 2 union territories went for polls in the 5th phase. The state of West Bengal saw the highest voter turnout with 74.65%. 67.59% people have voted in Odisha, with 63.07%. In Jharkhand, around 69.62% people voted in Ladakh, which was very encouraging as it went to polls first time after becoming a union territory. Baramulla parliamentary constituency in Jammu and Kashmir recorded 57.4% polling, which is the highest since 1984, both in polling percentage and absolute number terms. The prominent candidates whose fate was sealed in EVMs include BJP leaders Rajnath Singh, Piyush Goyal, Smriti Irani and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. And campaigning is in full swing for remaining 6th and 7th phases of parliamentary polls. The election is entering its final phases and the intensity of campaigning has reached a fever pitch as leaders make their final push to secure the votes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold public meetings in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar on Tuesday. Bharatiya Janata Party President JP Nadda will hold a roadshow in Haryana in support of BJP candidate Mohanlal Badoli. Meanwhile, the prominent faces of BJP, including Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh and Yogi Adityanath, will hold rallies and roadshows in Odisha, UP, Haryana and Delhi. Meanwhile, opposition parties are also not leaving any stone unturned to get across to the voters. Congress President and senior leader Mallikarjun Kharge will hold public meeting in Haryana's Yamunanagar and Pataudi. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi and Samajwadi Party leader Dimple Yadav will hold joint roadshow in Uttar Pradesh, Prayagraj. Meanwhile, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi will hold a public rally in Jharkhand. Bahujan Samaj Party chief Mayawati will hold a rally in Uttar Pradesh's Jaunpur city. Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal and Congress candidate from Northeast Delhi Kanhaiya Kumar will hold a joint roadshow in Delhi's Bhajanpura. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The government has taken a big decision to tackle the heavy rush of devotees in Uttarakhand Char Dham Yatra. The government has stopped offline registrations till 31st May. This decision was taken in a meeting chaired by Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. The government has not stopped online registration, but in this mode, pilgrims will get the date for darshan only after June 20th, because online registration slots are full till June 20th. Gujarat Anti-Terrorist Squad on Monday arrested 4 suspected ISIS terrorists from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad. According to sources, Gujarat ATS officials are interrogating the 4 suspected terrorists. The arrested individuals, all Sri Lankan nationals, are reportedly affiliated with Islamic State. The security has been heightened across the airport. Vehicular movement shall remain suspended on Jammu-Srinagar stretch of National Highway 44 for the whole day on Tuesday. As part of the restriction, no movement of any kind of vehicles, including those carrying fresh perishable livestock and security forces, will be allowed on the aforementioned stretch. NH44 is the longest national highway in the country and is considered the lifeline of Kashmir as it connects the valley with the rest of the country. All right, sports now. The playoff of the 17th season of Indian Premier League will begin today. Table toppers Kolkata Knight Riders will face Sunrisers Hyderabad in the first qualifier at Ahmedabad. It brings together 2 of the most belligerent batting sides this season, particularly in the power play. With the strength of the opening stance being central to their success, KKR might look slightly weaker in that department. Phil Salt's departure has broken his partnership with Sunil Narine at the top of the order. The Kolkata side were the first side to qualify for the playoffs of the tournament, and they will aim to register yet another win to place themselves in the finals of the season. On the other hand, SRH became the 3rd team to qualify for the playoffs. The Pat Cummins-led side registered a 4-wicket victory in their final league match against Punjab Kings. This win propelled their position to 2nd place in the standings, enabling them to compete in the qualifiers against the table toppers KKR. And the Board of Control for Cricket in India Secretary Jay Shah laid the foundation stone for the board's upcoming state-of-the-art training facilities at the northeast part of India, which will help 6 states in the region enhance their players' game through enhanced infrastructure. Jay Shah took to X to make the announcement. 6 states in northeast India, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Sikkim will benefit from world-class indoor nets, indoor swimming pools and fitness centers for year-round training options. This is what he wrote. Honoured to have laid the foundation stone for BCCI's upcoming state-of-the-art indoor training facilities in Northeast. Our cricketers from 6 states, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Sikkim will soon benefit from world-class indoor nets, indoor swimming pools and fitness centres for year-round training options. This, along with the launch of the new pavilion in Mizoram, are a big step towards our vision to enhance cricket infrastructure in the region. Exciting times ahead. Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platform. Scan the QR code to download the app. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.